Welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. No matter where you are, how you're tuned in, we appreciate all of you for making today's show a part of your day. And on the docket, latest Philadelphia Eagles injury news and a big update pertaining to the Eagles' second-round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft in Cooper DeJean. This news just in this morning that DeJean has been activated off the non-football injury list, and he is nearing a return for Philadelphia. We talked about this on the show yesterday and in the days prior that he was starting to get closer to his return, doing some work on the side field, some conditioning stuff. Here's a photo of him in Foxborough as the Eagles were taking on the New England Patriots for a joint practice session in the lead up to preseason game number 2 on Thursday night. We will be doing a watch party for that game. I hope to see all of you there so that you can join us for the best place to experience game day outside of being at the actual game. And the situation here around Cooper DeJean, obviously of note and interesting for Philadelphia. They're already very deep in that secondary. Howie Roseman has remade that unit, and Cooper DeJean is yet another talented player who could be another addition towards this emerging Eagles secondary that features a lot of young and intriguing players. Nick Sirianni saying this morning that DeJean is going to do individual drills during the Eagles joint practice, so not quite ready for one-on-ones and 11-on-11s and 7-on-7s. On July 23rd, it was announced and reported, and we talked about this on the show, that DeJean was going to miss time due to a hamstring injury. The report at the time from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler is that DeJean hurt his hamstring as he was bent in the wrong direction while training in the lead up to training camp. And I had said at the time, it's going to be a little while before we see him because you simply cannot mess around with these soft tissue injuries. And DeJean was coming off a broken leg last year at Iowa, which brings me to this point. Are injuries a concern for the Eagles' second-round pick? He's a freak athlete. He can play multiple positions in that secondary. He can be very dynamic as a return man. A lot of us have seen the basketball highlights from when he was in high school, when he was climbing the ladder and throwing down some hammers. But from Hard Knocks during the offseason, which featured the NFC East rival New York Giants, their big board was leaked, and a couple of players were highlighted in red. A couple of Eagles, in fact. Dylan McMahon, Anaya Smith, and Cooper DeJean. So the Giants flagged DeJean for a bad medical. He broke his leg last year at Iowa. Is that the reason why? Or when they were putting him through his physical, did they find something else out? And are they concerned about his long-term viability as far as his injuries? Now, what can the Eagles expect and what can you expect from DeJean once he gets back on the field? And hopefully he's going to be able to stay healthy. He could play all across that secondary. Cornerback, slot nickel, hybrid linebacker, and safety. During the spring, during mandatory minicamp and OTAs and rookie minicamp, he was mostly playing in the slot. I think that's the best position for him because when he had to play on the outside, he struggled a little bit while at Iowa. And on the inside, I think that you can maximize his instincts. He played quarterback in high school, so he has this ability to really diagnose what the offense is doing, and he's credited that to playing quarterback at the high school level when he put up unbelievable numbers. And from the slot, you can kind of use him in that versatile fashion. What I'm excited about is that he's a very dynamic punt returner and kick returner. And with this new kickoff rule, you can put weapons back there, and I look at Cooper DeJean as a weapon. But because he's missed so much time, he's behind the 8 ball, and because the Eagles are so deep during that secondary competition, will this be a redshirt year for him? But it's going to be hard to keep him off the field because he has a propensity for making big plays. He had 7 interceptions while at Iowa. 3 of them came back for touchdowns, and oftentimes when he was back there for a punt return, he turned it into a splash play. As for that versatility, I mentioned that he played everywhere at Iowa. And I want to see Vic Fangio utilize him in a very similar fashion. Last year while with the Hawkeyes, 28 snaps along the defensive line, 23 snaps in the slot, Outside corner was his primary position, 630 snaps there. He was in the box 23 snaps, and then he played deep safety once. So a lot of people tried to peg him as a safety. He barely did that at Iowa, which always has a very good defense under head coach Kirk Ferentz, but their offense is just dog shit. Cooper DeJean's strengths going into his first year in the NFL. What to keep in mind for his NFL career. A freak athlete who can be utilized in a variety of techniques. He anticipates well because he played quarterback in high school, as I noted. Those 3 interception returns for touchdowns. He's very versatile, like Trent McDuffie of the Kansas City Chiefs. That's why I kind of like him in the inside at that slot nickel role, because then you can pop him out to hybrid linebacker, maybe outside from time to time, and then ease him in to that safety role. And then he has that special teams value as a returner. His weaknesses, and this is my scouting report for DeJean in the pre-draft process, we talked about him here on the show. Coming off a fractured fibula, sometimes he gives up initial separation. Again, why I think he might be better on the inside at the NFL level. Some questions as far as what his position is going to be at the NFL level, cornerback or safety, and sometimes he can get handsy in coverage. It's really going to be interesting to see what the Eagles' plans are for him this late in the game. I mean, we're going into preseason game number 2 on Thursday. He has yet to practice with the team. So that's why I posed the question earlier, is it going to be a redshirt year, or is he going to be on the field for this Eagles team? With that, let me ask you this. Will Cooper DeJean have a role for Philadelphia as a rookie? Type P for play, R for redshirt. Let me know right now down in the comments section. We're going to hit other injuries on the Eagles injury report coming up here in just a moment. But speaking of Cooper DeJean, we put together these shirts during the second day of the NFL draft. The word John, it's just perfect for Philadelphia. It's part of the fabric of this city. So Cooper DeJean, you get the deal. Get your shirts today. Chatsports.com/DeJean. We have sent these all across America and internationally. Available in Kelly Green as well as black. We'll put that link down below in the comment section and in the description of today's video. Eagles injury report outside of DeJean. Oren Burks did not practice against New England on this Tuesday. Knee injury. Greg Calcaterra, tight end 2, did not practice because of a shoulder ailment. C.J. Gardner-Johnson continues to miss time, although when Keely Ringo made a big play during the Tuesday practice and had a near interception, C.J. Gardner-Johnson ran onto the field to celebrate with them. He continues to miss time due to a shoulder injury, and injury is a little bit of a concern for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Albert Okwuegbunam, an abdomen injury, didn't impress me at all in the Eagles preseason opener against Baltimore. He's certainly fighting for a roster spot. Caden Stearns, the acquisition for Philadelphia, who they signed on Sunday, former safety for the Denver Broncos, out because of a knee injury that he suffered a couple of plays into the Broncos season opener to start off the 2023 campaign. And then these players on the injury report, limited. Paris Campbell dealing with the groin injury. Cooper DeJean coming off that hamstring injury. Mekhi Garner, hamstring injury. And then Brandon Smith, he currently has a concussion. And speaking of the lone joint practice session of Eagles training camp here, a funny moment from the start of today's practice session. Patriots fans, once Nick Sirianni was starting to run onto the field, they were taunting Sirianni, yelling at Sirianni, saying, "Nick, Bill Belichick is going to replace you." I imagine that got Nick Sirianni fired up. We know that he can be an emotional guy, and as I'm recording this video, as we're live on Eagles Now, Philadelphia really dominating New England in this joint practice session. If you want to give me a follow on social media, in addition to long-form content right here on YouTube, I put out a lot of short-form content talking about the Eagles on Instagram and on X, at Chase_Senior on both platforms. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join us on Thursday night for our second watch party, and thanks so much for supporting the show.